Assalamualaikum and good morning to my respected lecturer and my fellow friends. We are from Group 5. We have choose Material Resource Planning MRP and Enterprise Resource Planning ERP as our modern business environment. For Wazif's suggestion to revive the accounting system in Prabot, Nusajaya SDM BHD, I'm working with EISYA, ANISAH and QURRATU, which is me. Our proposal will cover the following issues. The first is the current problem in PNSB that relates to MRP and ERP. Second, the definition and introduction of MRP and ERP. Third, characteristic, objective, and implementation of MRP and ERP. Advantages and disadvantages of MRP and ERP. Fifth, the recommendation that needed to implement the MRP and ERP. The last one is the conclusion. Let's look at the first one, the current problem in PNSB that relates to MRP and ERP. MRP is an acronym for Material Requirement Planning. The first is the hold. PNSB tend to holding an amount of finished product in case of unexpected demand or shortage. Second is the unconcerned. FAZRIN is the owner of the PNSB was never concerned with the cost planning and cost control of the production. The third is the not use. FAZRIN never implement the cost reduction activities in his company. The current problem that relate to ERP is shifting. PNSB customers are shifting their buying preference to the international company IKEA. PNSB produce a certain set number of furniture each period. Current production of PNSB is driven by a sales forecast. Recommend that in order to address the issue, the business use MRP and ERP system. Second, the definition and introduction of MRP and ERP. Definition of Material Resource Planning MRP is the software is used to help the manufacturing process and production planning. Enterprise Resource Planning defined as a software used by business and the organization to manage time-consuming daily activities in one place. Introduction of MRP is a software used by the manufacturing business to correctly predict the inventory levels and assembly requirement. However, MRP may be used in a wide range of sectors, including retail and restaurant, to keep up with demand and supply. Introduction for Enterprise Resource Planning enables the department to communicate more effectively with one another and with their consumer as a result. ERP system also help companies predict how much demand there will be for their goods in the future by cutting down on the amount of communication between them. Okay, that's all from me. Now I will let Ishan or FAZRIN to continue the presentation.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I'm EISYA FAZRIN and I would like to continue this presentation with characteristic, objective, implementation, advantage and also disadvantage of MRP and ERP. The first one is for the characteristic of MRP. The first one is an organizational system. The next one is MRP is a system that is operationally and financially integrated. And the last one is a program that can run what-if scenarios to demonstrate various course of action. For example, they think about what if something or problem that happened and they know how to solve the problem. For the characteristic of ERP, the first one is adaptive or modular design. An ERP system modular design combines many business modules including distribution, finance, accounting and also manufacturing. Each module manages several responsibilities for a specific department inside a company. Even though these modules are independent, the ERP system provides them to provide a smooth exchange of data and information among all of the modules. In the end, this will increase the operational transparency that the standard interface support. The next one is a common central database. An advantageous ERP system must implement a standard centralized database management system or DBMS, which is another name for it. Data input mistake and other drawbacks of using a distributed database are reduced because all information is entered, stored and used just once. The third one is open and flexibility database, and lastly automatic information production, executive information system, decision support system, simple warning system, and other business intelligence capabilities are offered by an ERP system. Making judgment about their overall production process based on data is made easier with the aid of this tool for manufacturing operation. The data obtained in the central database of the ERP system will be used to automatically generate all financial and business information. Next one is objective of MRP and ERP. The first objective is to ensure that raw material are accessible for production as needed. The second one is to keep your material and component level as low as possible. The third one is to create a schedule for your production operation. The modernization and system integration of business process and system is the goal of the ERP business transformation strategy. Next one is implementation of MRP. Using a computer-based system is necessary for MRP, which help you to make a better scheduling decision and order the component element of your finished product. This component may include things like raw material or other component required for manufacturing. Due to the variable demand for the finished product, MRP is helpful in ensuring that necessary supplies are readily available. MRP system are adaptable to any production process. Making a basic MRP system can assist determine how much is required and when after the finished product and all of the components have been identified. So the first step is to choose the product or goods for which you want to use the MRP system. To ensure the system functions well, it is helpful to concentrate on one or two products at first. Establish a product schedule and get management approval before implementing the system and choosing the product. The implementation process is made easier to manage by a helpful and involved management team. And the third one is to inform management of advantage of putting an MRP system in place. Having given management some background information will be helpful. So step number 5, make an input list for the MRP system. Utilize a bill of material, a master production schedule, and inventory record with the team as input data sources. For the step number 6, repeat the step 5 to create a new input list. There will be a distinct bill of material available for each product produced by a different manufacturer. Step number 7, to enter the bill of material information using a macros in Excel 5. The article code from the bill of material, the amount of material on hand, and the reserve stock can be all entered using Excel. For step number 8, all those impacted by the new system should receive instruction and training. And the last step is using a process outline created by the team, implement the MRP system and carry out an MRP system training. ERP implementation are significant tasks that, if not well planned, can consume a lot of time and resources. This project duration and cost will vary depending on a number of variables, including the deployment type, implementation strategy, system complexity, business size, and also resources allocated to it. So for step 1 is discovery and planning. Step 2, evaluation and selection. Step 3, design. Step 4, development. Step 5, testing. And step 6, deployment. And the last step is to support. This one is advantage of MRP and ERP. I will start with MRP. The MRP process has benefits such as minimizing inventory levels, cutting down on customer time frame, improving inventory management, and also raising overall customer satisfaction. Material and component will be available when needed. So some of the benefit is ensures that the requirement supplies and component will be accessible, reduce inventory level and associate expenses, improve inventory control, shorter lead time for customer, increase manufacturing effectiveness, and also increase output from labor. And the last one is more satisfied customer overall. The benefit of ERP, the first one is to reduce cost. One of the major benefit of ERP system is that they may help your business save money in a variety of ways. ERP benefit is workflow integrity. Employee with access to the system can observe the performance of many business processes that are relevant to their roles, including the progress of projects, thanks to the centralization of all workflow and information. It is far quicker and simpler than looking for a project document and repeatedly asking other workers for update. And the next one is data protection. ERP supplier take the recruitment precautions to protect the security of your system because they are aware that it contains important and sensitive data. True diligence is now more crucial than ever due to the volume and size of cyber attacks. Modern security methods are used, in particular by cloud ERP software, to protect your business from damaging attack. The last one is management of client and partner. Relationship with partner and customer can be improved with an ERP. With the help of the cloud, information interchange is made even better and more practical. It may offer insight on suppliers, transportation companies, and service providers. The technology may track customer survey replies, support ticket, refund, and more, so that the business can keep an eye on customer satisfaction levels. And the last one is the advantages of MRP and ERP. The MRP process has disadvantages such as a high dependency on input data correctness, expensive implementation costs, and limited production schedule flexibility. For more disadvantages is high reliance on the accuracy of input data, such as I said earlier, garbage in, garbage out. Implementation MRP system can be sometimes be challenging and expensive. Lack of willingness to be flexible with the manufacturing schedules. And the last one, to introduce the risk of holding more inventory than is necessary. For the advantages of ERP is system cost. Earlier, ERP systems were only available to large organizations since they were expensive to buy, implement, and maintain. That has been the case for more than 20 years. The second one is maintenance. In the past, maintenance was a huge expense that prevent lower revenue companies from implementing ERP. In addition to hire an IT team to manage pay, security, and necessary system update, business frequently had to pay a vendor or other third-party service provider for their expertise. The third one is does not solve administrative and policy problem. An ERP may boast accuracy, but it won't necessarily solve an inefficient or error-prone procedure. However, it might help you to identify issues with company operation and generate ideas for more effective business strategies. And the last one is complexity. An ERP system is packed with functionality which may intimidate your staff. However, because supplies have focused enhancing the user experience, current software is more simpler to operate than legacy system. I think that's all from me, and I will pass this to the last presenter, which is ANISAH. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURUL binti ILHAM FITRI and my matrix number is 2020148145. For recommendation, which is physical setting needed to implement the chosen MBE in the company. These are the tips for successful ERP or MRP system implementation in a manufacturing company. First is to avoid multitasking. Second is to provide enough resources. Next is ERP implementation in steps, data classification, keep future users up to date on project goals and schedule, and last but not least is users must be trained. Avoid multitasking because ERP or MRP systems are designed to tackle large industrial problems. Prioritize key activities because they will have the greatest impact, while focusing on micro-automation will increase the complexity of the installation process. Set a small set of main project goals that are closely tied to the business processes and challenge you wish to solve. Don't squander time and energy on projects that appear lovely but have little impact. Goals should be related to the company rather than to automation. Second is provide enough resources. The ERP or MRP system implementation procedure is a one-time but significant undertaking, so plan appropriately. Set up a project manager for the installation process who has enough time and experience with ERP or MRP software. The implementation project team should comprise all heads of departments that will utilize the system. Next is ERP implementation in steps. Depending on the size and structure of your firm, you may deploy the system by module, functionality, and personnel. For example, when managers report on finished production orders on their own at first before handling this function to line employees. Next is data classification. Consider the classification and categorization of data. Make product groups that are sensible. After installation, it is very difficult to modify the data classification. Next is keep future users up to date on project goals and schedule. Ascertain that all users who will interface with the ERP system understand the installation goals and timeline. This means that a general meeting should be convened at the start of implementation, followed by periodic communication. Last but not least is users must be trained. Everyone who interacts with ERP software should be aware of what they are doing. Typically, the information is passed on to others by the initial 1 or 2 trained users. Training provided by the programmer provider is another alternative. In conclusion, MRP and ERP software systems are strongly intertwined. However, each will provide you with distinct capacities and degrees of performance, as well as a diverse range of service. ERP systems and MRP systems both provide good manufacturing capability, but the essential question is whether you want support with anything other than manufacturing procedures. MRP systems are primarily concerned with manufacturing processes, but ERP systems include a larger variety of functions such as accounting, project management, business intelligence, sales, and customer relationship management. In summary, ERP systems do everything, but MRP systems are primarily focused on manufacturing processes.